Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope you guys have had a wonderful day. It's been really chilly here in my part of Oklahoma. I knew it was going to be in the 40s, but my mercy today with the wind blowing, it just was so sharp. And actually we got a few snow flurries, not anything major, but a few little snow flurries, and we're actually supposed to get some snow late Thursday night into Friday, but anywhere from a trace to an inch or two. It's not supposed to be a big major snowstorm. Winter's just letting us know that it's still here, even though it's going to be springtime sometime this month. Winter is saying, not your turn yet. I've still got control. So anyway, I thought I'd come on tonight and try to encourage your hearts just a little bit. And heaven knows we all need a little bit of encouragement with all of the news and all of the reports that we're seeing coming out of Ukraine and Russia, and hearing all of the things with NATO and all of the different countries trying to figure out what in the world that they're going to do, and the gas prices. Now I need to go fill my truck up, and I've been putting it off because I know it's gonna hurt when I go fill up that tank, but that's coming for me, and I know many of you are filling your tanks a couple times a week, possibly going back and forth to work, and I'm sorry for that. I know that is a hard hit to you, and especially those of us that are living paycheck to paycheck and having to give a big portion of that to filling the tank just so we can go to work. So I want to make sure that I give you some encouragement, give you something to smile about, something thought-provoking, and helping you to not only look well to the ways of your household, but tonight I hope I encourage you to take a little bit extra care of yourself. Take care of the caretaker. That's what I want to talk to you about tonight. Now, in thinking about what I was going to bring to you tonight, and I tried to pray and think about ways that I can encourage and give you opportunity to hear about the Lord, but also things that would encourage and inspire you to keep moving forward. Oftentimes something will come up, a subject will come up, or I'll read an article, or a thought will cross my mind, or I'll hear somebody say something that I begin to ponder. And that happened this week too. Now, I read an article. I pick up little magazines here and there, usually when I go to Tractor Supply or other places that I get supplies for my farm, and I like to get these books and read these little magazines and read the articles. And this month they had an article that I read, and usually I would have probably went right past it, but I saw this picture is what made me stop, and it was of this cow with this big thing in her side. And I thought, what in the world? And the title of the article was Holy Cow. So I thought, well, I have to read what is going on with that. This is an article in regards to fistulated cows. And at first I thought, what in the world is that? So I read the article, and then that caused me to research it further, because I wanted to know if this is something that's a pretty common thing. And so I looked up some articles in regards to our state extension and our college here that we have now. Oklahoma has OU and OSU, and Oklahoma State has the extension, and they have this veterinarian school. And so I looked up this particular thing, and it is a thing, and they had a cow. There was an article about Daisy the cow, and I wanted to tell you about Daisy the cow. Now, Daisy appeared to me that she was a Jersey. She might have actually been something else, but she looked like a Jersey to me, and she was fistulated. Now, what fistulated is, they go into the side of the cow. For those of you that don't know, A cow is a ruminant, like sheep and goats, and they have 4 chambers or stomachs, one of them being the rumen. And they go into this cow, into this side, and it's a surgical procedure, and they go in and they insert this tube type thing that has a porthole that can be opened up. They say that it is much like the skin after you get an ear pierced, or you get those big, whatever those big gauges, I think they are, and the skin heals around that, and so there's that hole there. Well, the veterinarians are able to see inside of the rumen and see the processes that are going on in there, and they're able to do research, but they're also able to do something pretty remarkable. Now, when a cow gets sick, and she's been eating on grass and hay and the other things, when she gets sick, the food that's there in the rumen, the microorganisms and all of the good bacteria that's in there begins to suffer and can die off. And then the cow that normally gets her energy from the food that she eats, and it goes there and it's processed in that chamber, that stomach, and it's moved out throughout her system. No longer does she have the energy, and so she can't get better. And oftentimes, if you have a cow go down, if she can't get up and she can't eat and she can't drink, you have trouble, and sometimes you'll lose the cow. And those, the microbes and the flora and all the stuff that's inside that rumen gets way out of whack. And so what they're able to do with a cow like Daisy that was at OSU is the veterinarians can go in and they can open that porthole and they can reach into that rumen and actually get a little bit of the content of that stomach and transfer it to the sick cow. And the good microbes and the things that are in that, the probiotics that are in that, in Daisy's stomach or other cows that have this same thing, that are in there, can be given to the sick cow so that her body will begin to work again in that stomach area, and the microflora and all of the bacteria and all the stuff. Daisy and other cows like her are able to have the things in their body that's beneficial to them, have a little bit of it taken and given to the sick animal. Not only to other cows, but if there are sheep that need help, or there's goats that need help, or there are other animals that are ruminants, they can all be helped by this beneficial fluids taken out of Daisy's body. So in a way, you could say that Daisy is a caretaker of other ruminant animals. She is able to provide something of herself to them. What is a caretaker? A caretaker is one that gives support physically and emotionally to others. Now, that can be to your immediate family that lives in your household, your spouse and your children. That can be to your parents if perhaps you are taking care of your older parents and you become a caretaker to them. It could be on your job if you are, say you work in a preschool or in a school and you are a caretaker of those children. You can even be a caretaker of property. Someone's farm. If you perhaps you work on the farm and the farmers are going to be away, and so you come in and you take care of their animals and you milk their cows on schedule and you do all these things. You're a caretaker. If you are a gardener and you maintain your gardens, your crops, your flowers, whatever it is that you're growing. Maybe you're growing hay out in a pasture. Or grasses out in the pasture to be cut for hay. You are a caretaker. Now, in reading this article about Daisy the cow, I thought about her, and I thought about other cows that have had this procedure done and what kind of life they live. Now, they say that a lot of them are dairy cattle and that they're not usually put back out in the milk parlor to be milked. They have a very good life. They're well taken care of. They are overseen by the veterinarians. And Daisy, the cow that I'm in particular talking about, she's looked out after, or she was. This is her particular story was an older story, so I don't even know if she's at OSU anymore. But she was taken care of by the veterinarians and the students that were going to school there, and was given a good diet of healthy feeds and hays and grasses, because her purpose was to be a caretaker of the other animals and they all around that might have needed her assistance. And so she was well taken care of. So what I want to talk to you about is we as caretakers must take care of ourselves. Being a caretaker is stressful enough. Sure, we love taking care of our family, our children, and our spouses, our parents, but it can be very, very stressful when we're pulled in so many directions. And we have our jobs, and we have our farms, and we have our daily tasks that need to be done. And now with all of the things that are going on in the world, we have so many more things weighing on our shoulders. Things that, we hear, that the prices are higher, and we worry if we're going to be able to continue to put things back. We hear of shortages that are coming, that there might be wheat shortages, and there might be shortages of other products. And so that begins to help cause us to feel stressed and pulled in all these directions, and we get overtaxed and overwhelmed and overtired because we're trying to do all of these things for all of these people that we're responsible for, and looking well to the ways of our households, or those that are trying to go out and make a living for their families. Sometimes they feel stressed because, the paycheck just doesn't quite go as far as it was going at one time. And that's a stress. And we simply cannot ignore taking care of ourselves. We give and give and give and give of ourselves without reinvesting in us. We forget that we need care too. Sometimes I think we get it in our mind that we're being selfish if we take a little time for ourselves. Sometimes some of you mamas might feel a little bit guilty going and running you a hot bubble bath and trying to relax for a little bit. And some of you with little bitty children know sometimes that's almost impossible. You have little fingers reaching under the door and crying for mama, wanting her to open the door and let them in. And it can be difficult for us sometimes to just relax and rejuvenate. But it is a necessity for us to renew the mind and the heart. We have to do those things. We have to renew ourselves. Oftentimes we're caring for people and we're pouring all that we have out on people that don't have anything to pour back into us. It doesn't make them a bad person. Our little children sometimes, they don't have the means to give back to us. Sometimes we're taking care of the sick and the elderly, and they just don't have the capacity to give back. Some are taking care of family members that have dementia or Alzheimer's, and it can be a challenge when you love that person and they don't remember you. That's hurtful. They don't mean to do it. They can't help it. But we have to get ourselves in a place where we allow ourselves to be loved on and rejuvenated and restored. I don't know about you guys, but there have been times in my life that I have been overtired. One of the times that sticks out to me the most is when Howie and I were gonna get married. And on the Friday night, we got married on a Saturday. So the Friday night, after our rehearsal dinner, and we had a delicious homemade spaghetti supper. Howie's grandma was Italian, and she made an awesome spaghetti sauce. And we had all of our people were there, and we had a big spaghetti dinner. And then afterwards, everybody went their separate ways, and my granny and my Aunt Bonnie and I went to the church to straighten everything up and make sure everything was so. By that time, I was so tired and so exhausted. Now, anybody that knew my granny and my Aunt Bonnie, they knew that they were not going to rest until everything was perfect in this little church that we attended. And I can remember being so out of it that I sat in the floor. Here I am, 23 years old, getting ready to get married, and I sat in the floor and bawled like a baby because I was so overtired and so exhausted from all the work that had went into the wedding. And I couldn't go another step. I was overtired. And sometimes when we let ourselves get overtired, we can actually get sick, physically sick, emotionally sick, just from being overtired, just from realizing that we didn't set a boundary. We didn't say, this is as far as I can go for now, and I have to step back and rest. We really do a disservice to ourselves and to those that we're trying to be a caretaker of, or the things that we're trying to oversee and take care of, like our food storage and our gardens and all of the different things that we take care of, or even our job. When we're overtired and we can't think clearly, we begin to make mistakes. We begin to let our mouth get away with us, and we say things that we normally wouldn't say because we just have finally ran to the end of our patience and we have no more, and we just let it all out. And oftentimes we have to go back and apologize because we've said ugly things, and it all boils down to we were overtired. Okay, so you might be saying, well, this is all fine and good, but what does this really have to do with preparing and looking well to the ways of your household? If you want to be effective in what you are called to do, if you want to make sure that you are staying on top of things and that you are able to do your job as overseer or project manager, or whatever you really want to call it, procurement officer. Howie and I always joked about that because he would get some things out and I'd say, did you fill out a form? That was just a big joke to the two of us. But anyway, we were kind of corny that way. But regardless of all of that, you can't be effective in what you need to do in this life, whether it's on your job or it's in your home or it's in your church, wherever it is. You can't be effective in that if you don't take care of yourself. And we are facing some stressful days ahead. Some of us, a lot of us, are already in stressful situations. And like I said a while ago, earlier in the program, all of the news of the day is building and building and building, and it's just, continuously growing. And some of us are beginning to get a little bit fearful and a little bit of afraid. But we don't need to allow ourselves to do that. We need to do what we know is our job. We need to keep working, keep pushing forward, but make sure that we take care of ourselves. And don't feel guilty for saying this word, no. It's not a very long word, 2 letters, but I guarantee you a lot of people have trouble tripping over themselves when they try to say no. We can't, you can't, and I can't do it all. We try, but we simply cannot do it all. One thing that I have come to realize is if you don't get it done today, it's usually going to be there tomorrow, and you can tackle some more of it tomorrow. So here's some things that we need to do to take care of ourselves. We need to make sure that we're taking time to rest. If you need a little cat nap, now Howie was a cat napper. If he and Blade would go on jobs and they would have to drive to a job, Blade usually drove. Howie gave him the address and he knew where they were going, and Howie would lean back and take him a little cat nap. And he was the type of person that a 5-minute nap, a 10-minute nap, 15-minute nap, he could get back up and he was ready to go. On Saturdays in the summertime, we always had our big date night. Was usually always the same. We would go out to eat, Howie and I, and then we would go to Atwood's or Tractor Supply or someplace like that because we both enjoyed that. And we were usually getting supplies for the farm, and that was about the gist of our dates. But we were happy. We loved doing that. And what we would do is we would get up on Saturday morning, enjoy our cup of coffee out on the porch, and we would talk over the plans for the day and what were some things that we needed to do for the farm. And we would spend a little bit of time enjoying each other's company. And then it was off to work, and we would work in the garden or build fence or whatever projects he had, and I would do whatever projects I had to do. And then at noontime he would come in and we would have dinner, and usually he would watch Gunsmoke, and then he would take a nap and then get up from the nap and off we would go to our date. So make sure that you get a little bit of rest. Now, a lot of us work away from the home on a job, and you obviously can't take a nap during the day. But make sure that you're not getting yourself overtired. That TV program will be on rerun, and you can see it again later. Go to bed and get a decent night's sleep, and make sure that you're getting plenty of rest. It's important in stressful times. You need rest. When your littles are overtired and being fussy and argumentative, what do? You say, it's time for you to take a nap. Well, we need to remember that, and when we recognize that in ourselves, or we see others looking at us and tiptoeing around us because we're a little bit grouchy, maybe we need to say, I need to take a little bit of a rest. I need a nap. Go for a walk. Now, it's almost springtime. My brother and his wife, they jog and run. They live in Minnesota, and it gets extremely cold up there. But they're all the time going out and going for jogs and walking, and they really love and enjoy the outdoors. And so I would say go for a walk and enjoy nature. Listen for all of the nature sounds, and if you're in a place where you can get out and you can enjoy a good old-fashioned walk and relax and rejuvenate, and it might just be the little pick-me-up that you need. The next one is very important for me. Not everybody is this way, but I love peace and solitude. And I love having a place, or several places really, here on my farm that are my favorite little spots to go and just get off by myself and just be quiet and listen for the voice of the Lord to really whisper peace into my heart and to comfort me when I need comforted. I love to go and sit in the garden and just listen. And I have a shade tree over in the side yard, and there's a swing out there, and I love to sit out there and just listen. And I guarantee if you'll find you a spot where you can just get quiet, don't take your radio, don't take your earbuds, don't take your phone and be on your phone. Go out there and just be quiet. Unplug from everything and just meditate on the Lord and enjoy the experience. Now, my granny was a hard-working woman, one of the hardest working women I've ever known. But she took time for her little naps, and she also took time to just get away and spend time with the Lord. She told me a story from when my dad was a little bitty boy, and Granny would go out back behind the barn, out into the pasture somewhere, and go off to pray. And she would get down on her knees out there at a tree stump or wherever and really pray and talk to the Lord. And that moved and impressed my dad when he was little bitty. And he built my granny a little altar, a little table that she took out there with her, a little bench, and she was able to kneel at that little bench and to pray and spend time with the Lord. Another place that was her favorite place was to get off in the bathroom by herself and to lock the door and spend time with him. And I've heard her many, many, many times in that bathroom just praying for her family and lifting her family up and really talking to the Lord about all of the cares of the day. And that's what we can do too, to take care of our spiritual self. Our physical self needs care too. The walking will help, eating right, getting plenty of water. You know, today, lots of people drink lots of things, but water is not one of them. And water is so good for us. It keeps us all limbered up. And I don't know about you guys, but I need a little bit of that limbering up. And stay hydrated. As things get scarier and scarier in this world for a lot of people, and their emotions are running crazy, and they're fearful, and they're worried how in the world they're going to make ends meet. And even a lot of us that are prepared for a lot of things can possibly sit back and say, boy, this one is a toughie, because all of these different factors are coming in. Wars in countries and economic problems, and we just have had sickness and all of these different things, wave on wave on wave come in. But if you are called to be a caretaker and you are doing all that you can to look well to the ways of your household, to be a provider, I was called to take care of the household and to do the things here. My sweet Howie was the provider. And sometimes we find ourselves carrying several positions. Now that he's went home to be with the Lord, I find myself in the position of looking well to the ways of my household, but also now I have to be provider for my household. And that can be its own set of stress when you're trying to be caretaker in all of these areas. But if we will lean on the Lord, we'll trust in Him, He'll see us through it and He'll help us. He'll whisper in your ear how to take care of yourself. Spending time with Him is the number one thing, making sure that your heart is right with Him and that you are at peace. Should anything happen, you're at peace knowing that you're saved. That's an incredible thing right there for your emotions and for your spiritual well-being. Now, one more thing. When you're a caretaker for your family, for the sick, for whomever else crosses your path, sometimes we get it in our mind that we're the only one that can do it. That I can't step away from it at all. I can't be away from it for even a few hours. I have to be right there in the middle of everything, and I have to have my hands on everything. And if you're not careful, you become a micromanager, and you've got your hands in this, and you've got your hands in this, and you've got your hands in this, and you don't trust those individuals that are there to help you. Be willing to let go a little bit and to let others help you. Be willing to step back and say, you know what? I need a little bit of a break. And besides just taking a nap today or taking a walk today or spending a little time in quiet, I think I really need to step away for a few hours. And if you have to go to the library, or you have to go and visit somebody, or you have to go some other place for a little while, sometimes it does us good to be absent from the scene for just a little bit and trust that those individuals that are there to help will be able to do the job. Let go just a little bit and go and allow yourself to be taken care of. Maybe you're one that wants to go and watch a movie, or maybe you need to give yourself a few hours and read a book, or go take a boat ride, or whatever it is. Be willing to step back a little bit and say, I need a little bit of time to regain my thoughts and my feelings. It's okay. It's okay, really. So I hope, guys, that today I encouraged you to take care of the caretaker. So just remember, guys, when we are cooking and putting things up for our family, when we're done, we clean up our kitchens, and we put away all of our baking sheets and all of those things. When we're in the garden, we pick up all of the things that are not supposed to be there. We take our tools and we put them back in the tool shed. We clean things up. We take care of all of those things. And those are our tools. You need to be taken care of as well. You can't do your job effectively unless you're taken care of. You have to make sure that you're rested, that you're recuperated, that you keep yourself inspired and encouraged. If you have to read things that are inspiring, most importantly, the Word of the Lord will inspire your heart and encourage you. Write a few letters, get a pen pal, take opportunity to communicate with others. Have people that are prayer partners with you that will help you pray in these times that become difficult for you. It's all going to work out. Now, I hope I've said something tonight to encourage your hearts and to help you go just a little bit further on this journey. Until next time, guys, this is Josie. I love you. I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household and take care of the caregiver. I love you guys. Till next time, we're gone.